So now that you have the race file up itself, this video is going to kind of just give you an overview of all the main things, all these tabs up at the top, and all the listings. Again, this is going to be just kind of like a brief explanation of all of it. So to begin with, I'm just going to begin with the Enter tab, and I'll just make my way this way. So Enter is pretty much what it says. This is the race day participants that sign up day of, and you need to type them into the database. So let's say I am bib 1. You just want to type in name, age, gender, and the zip code, because like I said in video 1, the zip code pops up city and state, so it makes the results look nice. And then you just want to hit save. So just hit F12, as you can see at the bottom. So that's how you enter in a new individual. Now you can also use that screen to edit a participant. So let's say my age was actually 35 and it's going to bump me up to a different age group. You just want to type in the participant's bib number. In my case it was 1. You want to hit F3 to search, as it says here at the bottom, F3 to search, and then it's going to pop up. So with this, let's say I was actually 35, all you have to do is change it and then just hit F12 again, and it's going to edit that participant's information and save it. So that's pretty much the only two functions with that. The next tab is just the whole database itself actually, and so let me expand it out. So it looks like a lot of information right now, and it will be on a week-to-week basis, because what I do ahead of each event is I download the whole online database. So it's going to include things such as address, t-shirt size, email, things like that. But the only things that we want you to type in with race day participants is the bib number that they get, their name, the age, gender, and zip code. Everything else you don't honestly need. The only thing that might be needed that I can show ahead of this type of an event is if it's like a 5K, 10K, and it has 2 events. I will have a field on this screen that has something like event, and then it will have the option that you can type in 5K or 10K, and it'll be labeled so that you don't miss it. All the stuff at the bottom you don't need, so I have this field, this label that says ignore it, so pretty much just do that. But like I said, this is a full database. And also in this database you can double click a name, and that pops up that screen, so you can edit participants that way. So if you don't want to go to this Enter tab, type in and search, you can just go to the database tab, this browse tab, locate that participant, and then edit them this way, and then save it. So let's say I'm actually 25 again, and then you can hit save, F12, and it's going to pop it up as 25. So that's those 2 tabs. The results tab is pretty much what it says. This is the actual results. So I'm just going to kind of give you some numbers. In this case, let's say it's got 5 people in it. So this is the order that they finished, and then you just want to type in the time that they finished. I'll show you in a later video how you can sync the devices that we use so that this stuff automatically pops up. But if you ever need to manually add somebody, you can just go to that, manually add them, and then go to this box and add in times. So let's say 18 minutes if I can type, and then we can say 20, 25. I'm just going to put in some fake data so I can show you what it looks like, and then boom. So I mean, you can also, so let's say I actually finished in 1802, you can right click it at a time 1802. If you need to delete a time, you can delete it. If you need to change a person's bib number, you can change it. So let's say this was actually 28, you can just right click it, edit bib, do it. If you need to add somebody's bib in between them, just hit here and put insert bib. So let's say 28 finished with 29 and they didn't pick up, you can insert bib 29, and then you just want to add in a time I'm just kind of showing you that you can edit, delete, add on this screen as needed. So this screen is pretty easy. Now I'm just going to leave this data here because the next tab that I'm going to walk you through is listings, and you'll see what place this actually goes to. So in listings, this is going to pop up on the right hand side, and this is pretty much going to be the same too each week. The colors might be different, the specific name might be different. If there's something special involved with that race, I will walk you through it ahead of time, so it's not just you being put on the spotlight. But pretty much each week you will have an awards listing, a results listing, an export, an announce, and that's pretty much the only ones that you need to pay attention to. All this other stuff is not needed. So the awards listing, you want to right click it and you want to hit output to editor, and you want to pretty much, this is the awards listing that specific race gives out. So in this case they gave out top 1 female, top 1 male, and then they had some age groups. All this stuff is going to be coded each week, so you don't have to actually code it. We'll do that based on what they tell me, so you don't have to pay attention to that. But what you do need to pay attention to is that this is the listings of the awards that specific race gives out. The results listing is pretty much what it says, the actual results. So it's going to have things such as name, city, state based off of that zip code, and then the time that they finished in. So as you can see, Ricky Campbell finished in 1802 based off of the results screen. So pretty simple, and all that. If you look at the division total thing, this isn't going to pop up yet just because I have not synced the database, because this was a new participant that was day of. But once you actually sync it, which I'll show you in a second, it's gonna fix this. So the export file, this is, if you double click it, this is gonna pop up a CSV file, is what they call it, onto your desktop. So here it is. It's gonna say results. It's gonna say something like 5K results, 10K results. And all this is an Excel sheet of the times and the participant information. So when you upload it online, all this stuff is going to look nice. So again, it has your place, your BEB, name, age, sex, city and state based off of that zip code that we have to type in, and time. And then division, depending on what divisions that race has, and placement in those. So again, pretty easy stuff. And then the Announce tab is pretty much what it says too. If you can see the participants' bib number as they come to the finish line, what we like to do is type it in, unless if you know who it is, that also helps. But just type it in, and that participant's name is going to pop up, as well as city and state. So if you can see somebody coming, you can begin announcing, let's welcome back Ricky Campbell to the finish line, sitting now at 18 minutes, 18:01. Finishing in 1802. But if you can't see him, no big deal. It's just something special that if you can actually see the bib number and can quickly type it in, you can announce the name. Auto run, you don't need to pay attention to. This is if we post it live online. It's going to post it each few seconds. Update entries is what it says. So this is what needed to be done to make that division total, because when you update it, the system knows that, hey, Ricky Campbell is 25, so he belongs in division 20 to 29. So that's how come that division was blank a little bit ago, because the system didn't know what division it actually was in. Age group, we used to do this. This is just going to show everybody in each age group. So if it's a big event with like 1,000 people, we sometimes still do this. Not that we have 1,000 people in many races, but when we do, we'll have this file on the listings. Alpha is just a listing of all the participants in alphabetical, based on last name. So you don't need to do anything with this, but I'm just kind of explaining it so you know what it is. Same thing with entries, it's just a list of all the participants, but this is going to be based on bib number. So it's going to go lowest to highest in bib number. So that's all the listings, and I'm just going to leave this alone for now. We might need it. If we don't, I'll delete it. The initial, the INIT listing tab at the top, if you want to click on it, it has a few options. The only two that we honestly use is initialize results and initialize external timers. What this is going to do is it allows you to delete results if it's needed. So I'll go ahead and delete that set of results. So then when you check it, it's deleted. So again, that was initialize results. Initialize external timers is how you sync the two types of timing to the system, and I will show you that in a separate video. The Miscellaneous tab, you have a few things. The only two that we use, the only one that you will, if you ever need to edit anything, it's going to be this top one, which is edit entries.ini update file. So then once you click on that, again, how to get to it, it's just miscellaneous, and it's going to be the top one. And then I'm going to go ahead and expand it. The only thing that you will ever change on this is, as you can see, it says do not edit below this line, so you don't need to pay attention to any of this data at the bottom. But the only thing that you will need to change, if you ever need to change anything, which you will on a chip timed event, you will need to be able to change gun time. Again, I'll show you that one in a different video down the road. Weather, you can type in anything that you want here. So let's say it's 80 degrees and sunny. Let's say the race name needs to be the 5th annual. You can change it. The race date, let's say it is 8/16. You can change it. You can change the city. All you have to do is type it in. And the distance is a 5K. You can just simply copy and paste that. And that, I mean, that's all that is, and it's just going to change the name, date, weather, things like that, and then save it. So then what that's going to do is, if you go to your listings and results and both awards, it's going to have that information edited up at the top. So instead of 3rd annual, it's now going to say 5th annual. It's going to change the date, the location, and it's going to add in weather. So that's pretty much all that is. And the only thing that you will need to do. The other one is edit list of events, which is something that I would do for you ahead of your race. So at the moment you only have finish. If a race has a split, like in the middle of it, we would have a split event. And if the specific race wanted net times, you would have something called a start event. So the net time would pretty much be the finish event minus the start event. But again, that would be something that I would sit down with you, and I'll probably make that one of the advanced videos here in just a little bit. But besides that, you don't need anything over here. Kind of just going to look through this. This is the database. So enter, edit, and browse. Listings, it's popped open, but if it's not open, you can get through it here. Results, pretty simple. Tools, that is an advanced thing that I will show you in a little bit. Online, you don't need to know. So that's pretty much all the tabs that we use with a brief explanation to them. So next up, I'm going to go through what it's like on a week-to-week basis, and then give you some advanced stuff.